And we are back. Vlog series rolling. We have push today. After 3 days off, then I trained back yesterday. So I cannot wait to get in the gym and just tear apart chest, triceps, and shoulders. So what you're gonna see me go through today is I'm gonna do minimal. So I'm pulling back a little bit on exercise in terms of total exercises and a little bit of volume. So I'm gonna do 2 press, 2 fly for chest, 2 things for triceps, 2 things, not sleeper sets, just 2 exercises for shoulders. And we're gonna see how big and nasty my pump can get. So when I pull back the volume, the goal there is just less wear and tear on my body. But also the thought process is, while supplements are out, while recovery is still happening post-show, I want to get the most out of the least, so that when all the subs come back in, I'm feeling fully back to normal. My weight is fully, which my guess will be around like probably 250, 255. We'll be able to really step on the gas and push volume up. So you can't push volume up if it's always up. So you have to pull back down. But here's something that I want you all to think about. When volume comes down, the necessity for urgency goes up through the roof, right? So let's say, for example, for chest today, I know I'm only going to do 2, 1, 2, so 5 total sets, right? I'm gonna put my car on drive. I'm sitting in a train right now. I only have 5 opportunities to make my chest grow. That means every single one of them has to count. I cannot miss. So when you follow along here, pay close attention to how much just utter effort I put into every one of these work sets today. And it's going to be so much so that I didn't bring my mic, because I'm going to voice over what I'm thinking about. I need to be locked in with training today. So no mic today, no talking while training, but I am going to film every one of my work sets. So the next time you'll see me, I'll be putting on some Arctic Balm. And here we go, Arctic Balm time. So going through a bottle here. Guess what? Thank God we have backups. That is something that literally I will not train without. It's too good. It protects me and prevents injury. Again, not paid by Elite, but I will be there very soon. November 5th, I'm gonna be back at Elite FTS. So beyond stoked for that. So lubing up here, chest, shoulders, triceps, not in that order, triceps are in the middle. And I'm just gonna keep this progress coming in this progression season. Rebound off season. That was a joke and some shade, right? But y'all always like kind of chuckle when people say progression season. Like, I'm old school. It's off season. Meaning we aren't actively competing in the next 10, 12, 24 weeks. So again, it's all semantics, right? You're in a calorie surplus. You're trying to bring up body parts. Just shut the fuck up and don't get fat. Like, kind of my thought process there. So, you know, Dave and I always joke about certain tangible, trackable things, right? Like rice bags, cream of rice containers, bowl of beans containers, sauces, pounds of meat consumed. You know, all things that a lot of guys just don't consider. But if I'm running out of this, I know that I haven't missed training sessions. And I cannot honestly remember the last time that I missed a training session due to just being like, fuck it, I'm not going today, don't feel like it. Like, I just can't. I think it's probably been since my early 20s, to be honest with you. So again, that's how you know I'm doing something that I love, right? I could never have imagined being like, I'm not going to football practice today. Are you kidding? Can't wait to go to practice today and get better and work and run and, you know, run routes. Like, yeah, this is kind of my thought process. Like, that's why I'm so grateful and thankful to have found bodybuilding to replace that scratching urge of just chasing better. And that's the biggest thing for me, right? Like, I never won a state championship, I never won a national championship, and I'll never win an Olympia. That doesn't mean I'm going to not have a ton of fun out there. So, chest, triceps, shoulders. Let's get it. All right, to start, I wanted to show you guys how I warm up for chest and shoulders, because honestly, getting my shoulders loose and warm have to be the number one priority in longevity for me. So I started with 10 band pull-aparts. Then, if you can see, I'm starting to do band over and backs, and I almost knocked my headphones off repeatedly. I'm like, let me just get that off there. So 10 over and backs. With these, all I'm thinking about is pull the band apart, drive around, touch my lower back. Again, both of these exercises I do very explosively, and that is on purpose. That is to get those shoulders warmed up, ready to go, and firing properly. So I'm doing 10 pull-aparts into 10 band over and backs. From there, I just take that long micro mini band from Elite FTS, I step on it, and I'm doing singular band just front raises. So with this, I'm trying to keep my rib cage down and depressed so my abs are controlled and flexed. Then I'm just spreading the band apart and trying to raise up to like the midline of my head. This just feels incredible, gets that front delt going. And I'm telling you, this little three-headed combo to start feels like great for the shoulder. Now, I'm just going to hook this around something sturdy, and I'm going to start to make my lats work. So I think straight arm pull down is all I'm trying to simulate here, / row. So hook it, it's at waist height, and I'm just driving that back towards my hip, squeezing my lats. This obviously is still going to get some rear delt in there as well. So again, this is a good just upper body warm-up activity. So next, I'm just trying to find somewhere that I can hook this band to and still be in the camera range. This is not where I normally do this, but I just had it set up for the incline hammer strength. So I just hooked it around the head of that bench, and then I'm just doing essentially like a Pec Dec, or I guess a reverse Pec Dec will be the more accurate option here. So again, just trying to drive back, squeeze those rear delts. I'm also trying to get everything in the middle of my back, so mid traps to upper traps, and that just feels really great. Now, next thing I do here is I'm just flexing my chest. So this is me a form of activation for me. So I'll start with like the lower inside, then I go like middle, and you'll see me start to swoop around after these. I don't count these. Again, that's back to lower. Now we go upper, lower, upper. I have no real rhyme or reason, but again, just getting a pump in my chest and activated. Now, next up, we're going to go right into an incline hammer strength. I've already done a ton of warm-ups here. I've done 4 warm-ups, and then now this is 4 plates for as many reps I can do. With this, guys, I'm just thinking about crushing my upper chest as many reps as I can possibly get. You'll see me just fighting for them. I got somewhere north of 12. I don't remember, to be honest with you. You get to watch it here, but this felt so freaking good. Just pumping those reps, pump them, and then last one, fight, control the negative, and done. See me fist pump. Now for the back off. 3 plates, and with this, I am trying to control and own every single inch of the movement. So come down, pause, up, contract, down, pause, up, contract. With this, like, I am so locked into this exercise, it feels beyond incredible. Again, I've told you this many times. I used to saw Jay Cutler do this, and I thought, man, I want his chest shelf, so I'm going to mirror this exercise. So again, top set, back off here, 2 working sets before I get into a fly variation, which you'll see next. All right, slight incline dumbbell flies. I have the 60s here. I did 1 fill set with the 30s, 1 fill set with the 45s, both for 8 reps. Now I'm just trying to take this somewhere close to the end. Without having a sputter here, I'm not going to like true failure, but I'm going to get pretty freaking close. So again, watch this form. Good stretch, not coming all the way together. I'm trying to stop that around 11 and 1 right there. Squeeze that chest. Big stretch. So with this, I'm thinking about open, slight, just minuscule pause there. Yep, and now up. Now you'll see me really fight for reps here. This last one, oh my word, this was the moneymaker right there. That's what your final rep should look like with these. Now, dropping down to the 30. So literally just cut the weight in half. And all we're thinking about here is open that chest and then now together. But if you notice, it is super controlled on the negative, super controlled on the positive. So I call these Milos flies because I saw him doing these years ago. And then he just recently started doing them again with Regan when he was working with him at the Dragon's Lair. So I love this. It feels incredible. Again, it takes self-control because when you get to the bottom, you want to fly out of it. You want to just power out of the bottom and squeeze your chest, right? But it forces you to control it. It forces you to dial into your chest, stay connected to it, and be on that muscle. Like by rep 7 here, my pecs were literally trembling. Like that's how bad it hurts. But fight that. Do this as slow as you can. Do not let tension off your chest. This is the magic of this back off. So your top set, you want to think about just power, explosion, control in the negative. generate force coming out of the hole after a slight pause. With this back off, what I'm thinking about here is the exact opposite. I want to be hyper controlled, uber dialed in, and this is what's going to make the chest grow. So 2 different types of stimulus on the same exercise with a top set and the back off. So many people don't look at an exercise this way, but I've always loved to think about exercise individually, even within a set. Now, next up here, going to go back to another press. It's going to be the wide hammer strength press. If you do not have this machine, literally don't stress about it, guys. We can do lots of things. We can do a slight decline Smith machine. We can do the decline hammer strength. We could even do a decline dumbbell press. As you see Dwayne like dodge my camera there. He was like, I'm so sorry, man. But listen, I'm in his way. I'm in his work. I'm in his office. So what we're thinking about doing here is it's just a triple drop. So I have 3 plates on here, doing as many controlled perfect form reps as possible. Not rushing around here. I'm just going to pull a plate off each side. So down to 2. And this is where the pain and pump begins. So again, with this piece, I'm thinking about lower outside portion of my chest and also thickness to the middle. So slide down, big stretch, good contractions. So with this, no pauses anywhere. I'm just literally rolling that weight, doing as many reps as I can until I reach a point where either my form breaks or I can't get a good enough rep. So as you can see, just rolling these 2 plates, it feels absolutely incredible. This piece is one of my favorites if you can't feel your chest, because if you look how it diverges, right? So it goes wide to narrow, and that's exactly how our pecs work. So final thing here, your little treat. I strip down to 1 plate. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the metal of this machine. So I'm actually going to spread my hands out. This makes me have a wider base. This is something I learned from John with doing Smith machine pressing. Having a wider base feels great on that chest. So I just slide my hands down and then still. All this does is give me a deeper stretch and allows me to have just an incredible chest contraction. I'm not saying you have to do this. This is just an old school technique that we've always done here at Elite, and it's always felt great to me. So I'll show it to you today. So next up is on to some flies. So with the flies, I'm doing 1 set here. All I'm about is open the chest, contract it. Open the chest, contract it. I love high cable crossovers. I cannot stand low cable crossovers, but the high ones, this one right here feels so good to me. And if you notice, like, I'm not coming down to my waist, I'm actually coming around and in front of me. This feels, to me, all my upper to mid chest, and that's the area that literally we can't have enough of. So I've always done my high cable crossovers this way. It feels great, get good contractions, and I'm just literally fighting for reps here, guys. So as you can see, like, this is not easy. I knew I had 1 set, so I had to make it count. So every single one, working that chest, making it stretch, making it contract as hard as possible. That's where the growth and the money lies. So come out, now we stretch. This is a slow 10 count. Again, just breathe into this, let it open you up, and this is where, again, we want to finish with the chest stretch. All right, now on to some triceps. Just a dual cable here. I'm grabbing the top of the ball of the cable system, and I'm thinking chest tall, squeeze my upper back together to keep stability and tightness through my abs and upper back, and then just kick out and down. So if you have any elbow issues at all, I love this because it gives you such freedom in the wrists and the way the cable aligns with the tricep perfectly. So I was shooting for a hard like 10 to 12, and then I'm going to bang a few partials here at the end just to fully deplete that muscle of energy and get a huge freaking pump. So love this cross cable dual extension. I'm going to show you my arm here because, good Lord, I know it's hard to see in the video, but I am freaking pumped, and that's off of just 1 work set there. Now, next up is going to be the kickback with dumbbells, and this is an exercise that John taught me. So a pronated grip, thumbless, chest supported, and then I'm just driving those dumbbells back. This is to work the medial head of my tricep. I also feel this on my long head a lot, and I'm just simply doing a rest pause here, guys. So as many reps as I can, drive it up, kick it back. This is so superior to a single arm dumbbell kickback where people swing them a lot. So you notice every rep I'm pausing, dead stop, and then ramming that up with my triceps. So set them down, count to 20. Again, I'm not watching my watch here. I'm just counting to a slow 20. Trying to shake my arms out because after that hard set of dual tricep extensions into this rest pause, like I was my triceps were already so freaking full of blood and they felt pumped. So I'm starting to get that lunch lady arm look already. So back at it, as many reps as I can, no momentum, no swinging, drive those things up, squeeze your triceps. I know it doesn't look like I'm definitely not pulsing at contraction, but that's what I'm trying to do. So the weight is selected perfect for me here because I'm not able to stop it, but it feels like I am. I know it sounds really funny, but just when you think about kicking it up, try to pulse at the top. You won't be able to if the weight's selected properly. And if you look there, I have 25s. I was shooting for around 12-ish for mini set number 1, and then obviously I'm thinking 12, 8, and maybe 4 or 5. So somewhere in that rep range, 15 being the highest number, and anything less than 8 on the first mini set will be way too heavy. So again, come back for the third round here. Just ram up, squeeze. Ram up, squeeze. Do not use momentum. This is a very short range of motion, but I'm telling you, this is extremely effective. Next up, into shoulders. So reverse pec deck. What you didn't see here is I did 2 sets previous to this, 100 pounds in the stack, and I'm doing 20 reps, and this is just drilling my rear delts. Like, I love this exercise. It feels incredible. I did 45-second rest periods here today, and there was so much blood through my chest, triceps, and then after 2 round sets of this, going into my third set of what I filmed here, I was like, I don't know if I can get any more pumped. Like, it would just hurt to exist. So that's how I know I was having a great, exceptional push day. And then now we're on to some side delts. So I'm going to run the rack north and then run the rack south. So with this, I'm starting with 10s. I'm going to do 10 reps. This is not to failure. N-O-T, not to failure. Do is 10, and then I'm just going to simply set those down, grab the 20s, and repeat this process of going 10s for 10, 20s for 10, 30s for 10, and then get as many as I can with 40. Now, if I could get 40s for 10, I would have grabbed the 50s and gone until I missed 10. So that's how I want you guys to do this. And if you have to start with the 5s, by all means, go 5, 15, 25. You can. The 10, 20s, 30s, 40s is perfect for me at this point. I've done it all the way to 50 before when I was in the peak of an off season and just really freaking strong. But again, you just hit 10 reps until you miss 10, jumping 10-pound increments. And this is one of my all-time favorites. This is a Ronnie Coleman classic. You just run the rack north, you rest 2 minutes, and then you're going to repeat the process, but do it in the exact opposite or reversed. So if you can see here, look how freaking pumped my shoulders are. I had to mentally regroup there. Just do as many reps as I can. Good, perfect form. And right there, I start to lose rep range, so I just don't stress out. Just do partials for the remainder of however many I didn't get, and that's going to finish up that set. Now, I rest 2 minutes, and I repeat it the other way. So starting with the 40s, if you see here, this is what I look like fresh. So crushing these, I get all 10 with, I'm not going to say ease, but it looked way better than set 1. So 10 there, then you go 30s for 10, 20s for 10, 10s for 10. And it's just straight 40 reps. It is agony by the end. Right here, the burn is in, and it is eating me absolutely alive. This, to me, is what builds shoulders, and I know all the smart, science-based progressive overload crew is going to say, don't listen to him. He's a juice-head gorilla. Anything will work for him. Trust me, when I started training my shoulders like this is when they were capped. This is when they were round and full. And what's funny is when I look at the guys who are so proponents of progressive overload for shoulders, guess what one thing they don't have? Capped delts, because they don't chase the pump. If you chase the pump for delts, high reps, lots of intensity, you will grow, I promise you that. So final set here with the 10s. I had to regroup there. I'm like, all right, just find a way. 10 reps, fight the burn, fight the pump, and listen, accept the pain. That's going to be the key for growing shoulders. Now, on to show you exactly what the pump looked like. Alrighty, guys, there you have it. Full-on chest, tricep, shoulder day. As you can tell, you think I'm pumped. Just standing relaxed here, chill. Hopefully I have softballs tucked under my skin. At the end of the day, guys, that right now for me is going to be a push day. So 4 exercises for chest, 2 for tris, 2 for shoulders, and I'm telling you, it's just what's working right now. I'm going to continue to ride this out through the rest of this rebound phase, and then we'll reevaluate my photos during since I just took a 3 days off, I'll probably do the 4 days off as opposed to the 7 I had planned later, to give a total of 7 days, but split it up 3 and 4, and we'll reestablish the training program in terms of volume, accumulation over the course of each day, but also the week. And that's how I look at training, right? So I have so much recovery capacity or so much volume, so to speak, for the total week. And I can't just redline every body part with volume, or I will run into recovery issues, and that's where I'll continue to further the imbalance of the rest of my body in my back / arms. So let's hit some posing here, and we'll see what it looks like. So, you know, I always start with that most muscular. Jesus. I'd say those shoulders are pumped. And what's wild is that's 5 sets. Look at that. There you have it, guys. Another successful training day in the books. Tomorrow, legs, and I cannot wait. It's gonna be hamstring and glute focused, but at the end I have a quad giant set. So beyond stoked to show you all that and get it on film and chest and front one day on my leg B day. So kind of alternating back and forth. Rotation of exercises also come into play for me because I like to keep things fresh. So as you all know, I keep the base of exercises that are like staples for me that I track progressive overload with, but then the pump, stretch, and accessory movements I view as literally what they're called, accessory. They complement all the main stuff. So to me, I can get a pump on any exercise, and I like to keep things fresh. So if you keep the core staples and then rotate the pump stretch work, that is, to me, perfect for not only growth, but also my mind and keeping it fresh. And there's some days where I come in like, man, that was such a good pump. I just want to simply repeat it and run it back. And there are other days where I'm like, you know what? Instead of doing dumbbell or the high cable crossover, I'm gonna do a roller fly or a Pec Dec fly, or I may do another flat fly or a slight decline fly. So again, these exercises can all be rotated out towards the end where we're doing pump work, but then I keep the main staples. So if you look at today, the 2 staples are gonna be the hammer strength incline and the slight incline dumbbell fly. And I track those like a hawk to make sure I'm not losing strength, and then I'm actually going up in strength. And then the final 2 for chest, for example, are gonna be all pump work. So I can hammer those whatever I like. So today was wide to get my lower outer chest, and then the high cable crossover to get a huge stretch and to open my pecs up and get nasty contractions. I want to keep digging out the striations out the center of my chest, getting wilder and wilder. So if you look at the rest of the session, if I'm thinking about it that way, like to me, a tricep pushdown is interchangeable. The attachment, single arm, double arm, do what feels great on your elbows, warm up, smash and get a pump, and then today I did the dumbbell kickback. So with that, that's a little bit of me just wanting to be different. As an old school John exercise where you come with a thumbless, pronated grip, chest and incline bench, ram them up, and I did a rest pause there. And for shoulders, same exact thing. For rear delts, I'm either gonna do bent over rear laterals or a Pec Dec or a high cable pull apart. And for side laterals, you know the drill. Dumbbell side laterals, seated side laterals, cable side laterals, one arm at a time, don't matter. Machine side laterals. Like to me, with shoulders, if it's all pump work for me, the exercise itself and progressive overload is useless if I haven't went up in shoulder weight, but my shoulders continue to grow. So again, that's not something that I track there. So just some insight and thought behind everything. And until next time, guys, like, share, subscribe. Chris TV. Listen to that person in the gym training. This is a real gym.